War was supposed to end with victory. At least, that's what Corporal Nathan Hale used to believe. But after 5 years of trench battles against the Dravani, the reptilian conquerors who had torched half of Earth's colonies, victory tasted like ash. The fleet had finally shattered the Dravani warhost above Jericho 9, and the surviving humans stood bloodied but triumphant. Nathan expected medals, maybe a short leave. Instead, he was handed something. Someone. Woman. Not human. She was brought into the steel-lined barracks with chains around her wrists. Her skin shimmered faintly in shades of silver and pearl, reflecting light like liquid metal. Long strands of translucent hair fell over her shoulders, and her eyes were an unearthly violet, slitted like a cat's. "This is your reward, soldier," Commander Rourke said gruffly. "High-value asset. Dravani consort, captured aboard their flagship. They bred them from subjugated species for companionship. Consider her yours." Nathan stiffened. A reward. He looked at the alien woman, who kept her chin high despite the chains. Her expression was not one of fear, but defiance. "I didn't fight for slaves," Nathan muttered. Rourke gave him a hard look. "Orders. She'll be executed otherwise. Take it or leave it." Nathan wanted to argue, but the thought of her being dragged away to a firing squad silenced him. He saluted stiffly, and when the commander left, the woman spoke for the first time. "My name is Serenia," she said, her voice melodic, carrying an accent that seemed woven from multiple tones. "Not property. Not reward. Remember that." Nathan nodded slowly. "Nathan. I don't want a slave." Her gaze softened slightly, though suspicion lingered. "Then free me." "I can't. Not yet. But I won't treat you like one." That was the beginning. Part 1. The Uneasy Alliance. Nathan's quarters aboard the carrier Resolute were cramped, barely enough space for his bunk, a desk and storage. Having Serenia there turned it claustrophobic. She rarely spoke, spending hours staring through the small viewport at the star-streaked void. When food was delivered, Nathan insisted she eat first. One night, as the hum of the engines filled the silence, Nathan finally asked, "Why were you on their flagship?" Serenia's violet eyes gleamed. "The Dravani destroyed my world when I was a child. My people are called the Veari. The Dravani took me, raised me in their palace. I was made to be a consort to their warlord, a slave dressed as a queen. And now you're handed to me." "Yes." Her tone was laced with bitterness. One chain traded for another. Nathan clenched his jaw. "Not if I can help it." He meant it. Over the next weeks, he smuggled her extra rations, found excuses to unclip her restraints when officers weren't around, and even showed her how to navigate the ship systems. Slowly, she began to trust him. Then came the whispers. Other soldiers mocked him for being soft. Some sneered at Serenia when she passed in the corridors. Nathan broke a man's nose after one such insult, earning himself 3 days' confinement. But he didn't care. On the 4th night after his release, alarms blared through the carrier. Dravani raiders had ambushed them near the asteroid belts of Zaran. "Battle stations!" The intercom roared. Nathan grabbed his rifle. Serenia stood near the door, eyes wide. "Stay here," he ordered. But Serenia shook her head. "I know their tactics. Let me help." Before he could protest, the ship shuddered from a direct hit. Lights flickered. Smoke filled the corridor. Nathan realized, if Serenia truly did know the Dravani, she could save lives. "Fine. With me," he said. They rushed to the command deck together. Amid chaos, Serenia pointed at the tactical display. "They'll flank here. Disable their thruster nodes on the port side. Strike before they circle. The captain hesitated but gave the order. Moments later, the raiders were crippled and retreating. The bridge crew stared at Serenia in awe. Nathan saw it in their eyes. She was no longer just the alien woman. She was a strategist. Part 2. Between Chains and Freedom. After the battle, Serenia was summoned to military council. Instead of punishment for interfering, she was offered a choice: remain Nathan's responsibility, or serve as an advisor against the Dravani. "I'll serve," she said, "but only if I am recognized as free." The council exchanged wary glances. Freedom for an alien was unprecedented. In the end, they compromised. She would be provisionally free, but under Nathan's guardianship. When they returned to quarters, Serenia looked at Nathan. "You fought for me, even against your own commanders." "Why?" He shrugged. "Because I know what it's like to have no choice. I enlisted when the Dravani bombed New Berlin. My family was there. All I had left was the army." Serenia touched his arm gently. "Then perhaps we are both survivors of chains." Days turned into weeks. Together they analyzed captured Dravani data, predicting enemy movements. Nathan discovered Serenia had an astonishing memory for codes and patterns. She, in turn, grew curious about human culture, asking about music, literature, even simple things like why soldiers laughed at crude jokes. Nathan tried to explain, often fumbling, but her laughter, light and melodic, made it worthwhile. But not everyone accepted her. A faction of officers resented the alien advisor. Rumors spread that she was a spy, that she bewitched Nathan. One night, their quarters were vandalized. Walls scrawled with slurs, rations dumped across the floor. Nathan raged, but Serenia only said, "Chains are not always metal. Hatred is another kind." Their bond deepened. It wasn't love, not yet, but a fragile alliance built on mutual wounds. Part 3. The Turning Point. 6 months later, intelligence revealed a terrifying truth. The Dravani were building a superweapon on the shattered moon of Tauraxis, capable of destroying entire fleets. Covert strike team was needed. Nathan volunteered without hesitation. To his surprise, Serenia insisted on joining. "They will not expect one of their slaves to return. I can infiltrate." The captain reluctantly approved. The mission was brutal. Disguised in stolen Dravani armor, they infiltrated the moon base through sulfurous caverns. Inside, towering spires of black alloy pulsed with energy, the weapon's core. Patrols stalked the corridors, and the stench of ozone hung heavy. At one checkpoint, a Dravani guard stopped them. Serenia spoke rapidly in their guttural tongue. The guard bowed and let them pass. Nathan stared. "You still speak their language." "I had to," she whispered. "But every word tastes like poison." They planted charges around the core. Just as they prepared to leave, alarms blared. A Dravani warlord strode in. Massive, scales glistening, eyes burning red. Nathan raised his rifle, but the warlord laughed. "Serenia, my lost jewel. You return at last." Nathan realized with a chill. This was her former master. The warlord sneered. "Throw down your weapon, human. She belongs to me." Serenia stepped forward, trembling. For a moment, Nathan feared she would falter. Instead she spat. "I belong to no one." She lunged for the detonator. The warlord slashed, claws raking her side. But Nathan unleashed a storm of plasma rounds, driving the beast back. Together, bleeding and desperate, they triggered the charges. The core erupted, shock waves ripping through the base. They barely escaped aboard a stolen shuttle as the moon fractured behind them. Part 4: Chains Broken.